Around 3300 BC in southern Mesopotamia, in the territory of modern-day Iraq, the ancient Sumerians began cultivating the poppy. They noticed a curious property. If you score an unripe seed pod, a thick, milky sap leaks out. This sap did not merely relieve any physical pain, it induced a state of deep, dreamlike euphoria and peace. This was Papaver somniferum, the opium poppy, the exact same species used to produce opium today. In ancient cuneiform tablets discovered in the ruins of the city of Nippur, the plant was written as hul gil, which translates to the plant of joy. From Mesopotamia, knowledge of opium spread rapidly across the Near East, to the Assyrians, the Babylonians, and onward into Egypt. By 1300 BC, poppy fields stretched along the Nile near Thebes. Opium was used to treat virtually everything: headaches, insomnia, and severe post-surgical wounds. In the famous Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest surviving medical treatises, opium is included in dozens of remedies. It was even given to infants to soothe crying, compared in the text to how the goddess Isis appeased her young son, Horus. On Minoan Crete, archaeologists uncovered a terracotta figurine known as the poppy goddess, wearing a crown of poppy pods featuring clear vertical incisions. The word opium itself comes to us from Greek. Opion simply means poppy juice. Hippocrates prescribed it regularly to his patients, and in the Odyssey, Homer described a draught that Helen slipped into wine to soothe grief and bring forgetfulness to weary soldiers. In ancient Rome, even emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius took opium daily. His personal physician, Galen, prepared a complex compound for him every day, a theriac, whose core component was opium. During the years of his daily use of this mixture, Marcus Aurelius wrote his famous Meditations, a masterpiece of philosophy studied in universities around the world to this day. In antiquity, the concept of addiction did not exist. Opium was considered simply an effective medicine. It was not until the 19th century that German pharmacist Friedrich Serturner isolated opium's primary active alkaloid, naming it morphine after Morpheus, the god of dreams. Serturner tested it on himself and became one of the first severe morphine addicts. With the invention of the hypodermic needle in the 1850s, morphine transformed into a global issue. Later, in 1898, the pharmaceutical company Bayer created what they marketed as a safe alternative for coughs, a drug named heroin, derived from the German word heroisch, meaning heroic. The compound proved to be more destructive than anything history had seen before.
Moving to New Kingdom Egypt, around 1000 BC. At lavish banquets hosted by Egyptian nobility, a distinct type of wine was served. Petals of the blue lotus were steeped in wine chalices for hours. Botanically speaking, this is not a true lotus but rather a blue water lily. The resulting infusion acted as a mild relaxant, inducing gentle euphoria and earning a reputation as a powerful aphrodisiac. The blue lotus was woven into the very fabric of Egyptian culture. Its imagery covered tomb walls and temple columns. On wall paintings, banquet guests are continuously shown holding blooms to their faces to inhale their sweet aroma. Because the flower opens at dawn and closes by dusk, the Egyptians linked it to the movement of the sun and the concept of eternal rebirth. According to Egyptian mythology, the world itself began when a giant lotus rose from the primordial waters, opening its petals to reveal the young sun god. Nefertum, the god of perfume and healing, was also born from a lotus. When Howard Carter opened Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, dried blue lotus petals were found draped directly over the pharaoh's mummy, and a carved wooden sculpture of the young king emerging from a lotus bloom stood near the entrance. Priests drank concentrated lotus infusions before temple rituals, believing it helped them commune with the gods. The flower's psychoactivity is driven by the alkaloids nuciferine and apomorphine. The Egyptians intuitively discovered the ideal extraction method. These compounds do not dissolve easily in water, but transfer perfectly into alcohol. Volunteers confirmed that the drink produced deep relaxation, sociability, and a light elevation of mood.
Around 1500 BC in ancient India, the central ritual of the Vedic religion revolved around a sacred drink called soma. Priests extracted its juice by crushing the stems of a mountain plant with heavy stones, filtering the liquid through sheep's wool, and mixing it with milk and ritual barley. After drinking this elixir, priests entered a state of intense religious ecstasy. In ancient tradition, soma was three things simultaneously: a sacred plant, a deity, and the moon. Out of the 10 books of the Rig Veda, an entire volume, comprising 114 hymns, is dedicated solely to praising soma. The texts promise that drinking it yielded immortality, divine vision, and strength. A famous line from a hymn declares, "We have drunk soma, we have become immortal, we have reached the light, we have found the gods." Yet here lies one of history's greatest botanical mysteries. No one knows for certain what plant soma actually was. According to the texts, the finest soma was harvested high in the mountains. As the Vedic tribes migrated down to the plains of India, the original plant became inaccessible. Priests began replacing it with local herbs, leaving behind written apologies to the gods for using substitutes. Over time, the secret of the original identity was lost completely. Since the 19th century, scholars have proposed over 100 hypotheses. In 1968, ethnobotanist Gordon Wasson argued that soma was the Amanita muscaria, the fly agaric mushroom, pointing out that texts describe soma as a stem without leaves, roots, or seeds. However, critics argued that fly agaric acts as a depressant and deliriant, whereas soma was consistently described as a powerful stimulant. Today, the leading candidate is ephedra, a mountain shrub with jointed stems containing ephedrine. In neighboring Persian tradition, there existed a direct counterpart called haoma, which Zoroastrian priests continue to prepare using ephedra to this day.